a quick practice here at USC, but still they had to focus back on football. The good news is that they have lifted the evacuation surrounding the facility. Players and coaches could get back into their homes, but still a very dire situation here in California. Our thoughts and prayers go out to everyone, Jim.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tracy. Zuerlein will be kicking it away to Tyler Lockett, and as Tracy alluded to, no practice for the Rams on Friday, Tony.
Yeah, that's the red zone period. That's going to be interesting to watch today, but they walked through on Saturday to get themselves ready.
And to hold the practice just a few hundred yards away from here on the USC campus. So let's bring out Russell Wilson and the Seahawks. Come into this game at 4-4. Both of these teams coming off a loss last week. Wilson and the Seahawks losing to the Los Angeles Chargers, while the Rams had their first setback of the season after 8 opening wins, losing the game down at New Orleans 45-35. Now they've got no DJ Fluker at right guard, no Carson today, the running back, both inactive, and this of course is a run-heavy offense for Coach Pete Carroll. It's going to be Davis slipping through a tackle and peeling off a nice 12-yard run. So Davis will get the bulk of the work today for the Seattle run game.
Well, and this is where Seattle is finding their identity. Start of the year, they're kind of still figuring out who they had. Now they're a power physical, almost like 5 years ago. Now the defense is coming on. This is a different Seattle team at this point in the year than they were to start the beginning of the year. Last time they played the Rams, they did impose their will early in that game in the run.
And they rushed for more yards against the Rams than any other Los Angeles opponent this season. Back since week 3, they're the leading rushing team in the league. And here they go again on the ground for another nice run by Davis for 5, maybe 6. So 2 really important ingredients, though, in that ground game for them out. So this is the way they're going to line up here offensively. Again, Carson out, Fluker out.
And to me, this right here, you can use that last game. They ran it so well, you can come in here and play action. I expect to see some play action early in this football game to use the advantages that you had last time, knowing they're going to come in and stop the run.
You saw Fluker on the sideline. They love him, but he's out again with that calf injury, and a flag is out. John Hussey and crew on hand to govern this game.
Illegal formation, offense, not enough men on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
And now the Rams defense, again, the coordinator, the great Wade Phillips, 41 seasons in the league. And he calls it still in transition. 7 new starters from a year ago. Still trying to come up exactly with their identity, but they have some great strength on the inside, particularly at defensive line.
Yes, they do. And those guys, you don't want to get into a game where you're passing 40 times. They will rush the passer inside as well as anyone.
2nd and 10. And just a 2-yard gain for Davis that time.
I do think you're going to see a little evolution with this Rams defense. Wade Phillips is a man-to-man defensive coordinator. He wants to live in man. He wants to come after you with 5-man rushes over and over again. But what he's finding out with this team, you know, Marcus Peters, he's a good corner in zone coverage. He can read stuff. He can react. He's gotten exposed in man a little bit. I think you're going to see them go a little more zone and try and help him. And that could be something that either pays dividends or hurts him being his history.
Peters had a rough outing last week against the Saints.
And you see right down here, that's the matchup.
3rd and 8. And Wilson over the head with that throw for David Moore, but we got another flag out. And Wilson got hit low.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense number 58. 15-yard penalty, automatic, 1st down.
So Littleton's personal foul will put the football for the Seahawks onto the Rams side of the field. As you see it, Wilson was like, hey guys, you can't do that, and the officials saw it as well.
Yeah, you can't hit the quarterback low. The real argument's like you can reach out and grab his legs. You just can't dive into him. And you see the miscues this year.
Not very often are they flagged. 3rd fewest in the league.
No, they play smart.
You see just 7 giveaways on the season as well.
This is the Seattle needs to play with a close football game or the lead here. If they get behind and it turns into a pass fest, you're playing right into the Rams' strength.
Now, new set of downs. Los Angeles 46. They flip it. Lockett, who's able to break it. Look at this one. Spins away from Littleton. What a run that was, but we've got another marker on the field. That was some effort by Tyler Lockett to look like he was going to be dumped for about a 5-yard loss, and he was able to escape a couple of more hits, picked up 17. Let's see what the flag says.
Personal foul, face mask. Defense, number 56. That 15-yard penalty is half the distance to the goal. Correction, half the distance to the goal. Automatic, first down.
So the flag is on Dante Fowler, who they traded for from Jacksonville just a week ago, just his second game as a Ram. And there's the face mask.
Yeah, he did, and that was right in front of him.
74 is reporting as eligible.
And he rips him around. That's a good call. Fowler is going to help them, though. Their outside pass rush wasn't near as good. They've moved Sue outside to try and create more of a rush there. Obviously, everyone knows about Donald, who might be the most disruptive interior player. You know, he is in football right now. Over the last 5-10 years, it's him and Watt and everybody else on the inside. So, with him there, Fowler, boy, it could get better here in the pass game even.
So the Seahawks, aided by 2 personal foul penalties on this opening drive, now have a first down at the 14. Rolling out. Wilson just throws it incomplete. And Fowler provided the pressure, flushing him out, and the throwaway, 2nd and 10 coming up.
Got to give the Rams credit there. That's exactly first down and 10. That's exactly where Seattle thought they were going to get a big play. We ran it on you well. We started running good. We really hurt you last time we played. We know you're coming in, Rams, with a game plan to shut the run down. Use that against them. Rams were prepared for it.
2-6.
Davis remains the running back. Watch Baldwin at the top. He has not scored a touchdown this year. They're going to go on the ground again with Davis in traffic, plowing ahead down to the 8, which will set up 3rd and 4. Again, Chris Carson in that first game had 116 yards on the ground against the Rams, but a hip injury. They worked him out before the game. It was questionable all week, but just elected it was not good enough to go. They have to turn around and host Green Bay on a Thursday night game, so they set them both.
Yeah, him
Carson
and
Fluker.
Yep. And that's the right decision. You got a Thursday game. Otherwise, you get an average version in both games.
2-6,
3rd and 4. Need to get to the 4 for a first. Wilson's first option taken away. Middle of the field. He throws. What a catch. Van Ness grabs it between 2 Rams for the touchdown.
Well, Van Ness just does a great job fighting off the release, and then really it's just an outstanding job by Russell Wilson. I mean, buying time and then finding that throw and having to be perfect. I mean, Johnson could have easily, with that ball was a foot off, could have gotten his hand right on that, but that ball was right in front and on a rope. Well done by Russell Wilson. Good route by Van Ness.
75-yard drive, 7 plays. Again, 2 big penalties, including the roughing the passer that would have forced a punt. And the extra point by Janikowski is good. And a little skirmish breaks out for a moment. We got a player down in the middle of all of that.
You know, this is, I mean, well, we'll get to Sean McVay in a second here.
Sean's looking like what just happened here as they go 75 yards against his defense. Just a few moments before kickoff, there was a moment of silence observed here at the Coliseum. And again, back to Jared Goff. He was one of 20 players or coaches forced to evacuate from their homes on Thursday night into early Friday morning. And again, all this sequencing of events, the shooting that took place just 5 miles from the Rams headquarters, their facility up at Cal Lutheran in Thousand Oaks, and the loss of 12 lives. Just impossible to make sense of that. And then all of a sudden, Mother Nature breaks out these wildfires that are ravaging the state. Northern California has enormous issues as well. And this is a young man here, the youngest head coach in the league, that when you talk to him at a time like this, when you're surrounded by a crisis, had an amazingly mature look at how his team was going to handle this week.
Well, how mature was it to give them off on Friday? I mean, it's a monster decision for a day, but it's absolutely the right decision. And he preaches all the time about team, you know, the perspective, the bigger picture, all these. Well, this is exactly a great example of it. And I give Sean McVay credit. It was the right call. People's homes all around. I mean, neighbors, their homes. It's devastating, really heartbreaking. He made the right call.
Countess on the run back, and he got tripped up quickly. It was Griffin who made the hit on him. All right, Jared Goff. His numbers are just astounding.
Yeah, you know, we talk all the time about that leap in year 2 and 3. He's got it, and then some. I mean, he's really come out and impressed me. What he's doing right now, he's making some very difficult throws and making them look very easy. Sean McVay deserves a ton of credit. He's outstanding, and he's next level when it comes to game planning and really just being a coach in this league. But Jared Goff deserves a lot of this credit as well. These two together, it's subtly kind of reminding me of a Breeze Peyton, where it's like, it's tough to beat these guys.
Goes across the middle, takes the 6 yards that was open. And that's a catch for Kupp. This offense is #1 coming into the week with 447 yards a game. Of course, Gurley, his numbers are just off the charts. The last 2 games against Seattle, Gurley has totaled 7 touchdowns. There's another throw, middle of the field, and a catch made by Woods. 2 quick completions for Goff.
Well, watch Goff stand on his back foot right here. It's just boom. And his body weight shifts, but it allows him to play calm and not get rushed. And he makes those look effortless and easy. And I'm telling you, he has jumped up to a really next level of quarterbacking from where he was. I mean, it's really impressive to watch.
Fake the jet sweep, still has it. Goff looking for options. And goes to Higbee. At the last moment, takes the 7 to 8 yards that was available that time. Now the Seattle defense, the D coordinator is Ken Norton Jr., reunited with Coach Pete Carroll. He served for so many years as an assistant here at USC with Pete, and 5 years as well as a linebacker coach for the Seahawks, and went on to the Raiders as a D coordinator for a while. There's a pass for another first down. Just picking them apart here at the start as Higbee has a second catch.
Goff just does a wonderful job of, you know, you'll see this over and over again where he's about to get hit and he kind of just stands right there, almost like flat-footed or off his back foot, and he shifts his body weight. It gives you a chance. Watch his body weight. Just, he's about to get hit and he's off his back, and it almost looks like inaccurate, but it allows the players to have that extra 1/10 of a second to get open.
4 plays and 4 completions for Goff.
Turbo set.
Gurley, first handle, and it's a good one for 9. McDougal finally able to finish it off, and it took several Seahawk defenders to stop it.
See this right here? This is called, they're going to fake this jet sweep, and no one does it more than the Rams. You have to account for that. And Seattle has gotten beat on that a few times. Last week against the Chargers, that little handoff to receiver motion, that's been troublesome. So the Rams seeing that, and they know they run it, they're going to make them account for it and then do something else.
Turbo set.
Gurley again. Got the first down and 3 extra. Bobby Wagner with the tackle. Gurley's slow to get up, but he's on his feet. And just look at these crazy numbers. Since coming into the league back in 2015, was a first-round pick out of Georgia. This is what he's done in that time frame.
But is that what you want? I feel like he's really got to improve in some of these
Yeah,
areas.
where?
I mean, I tell you, if you draft him, you're like, hey, you're going to be first in everything. I think you'd say, okay, we like drafting this guy.
Single 5-4. Good, we're good. Here we go. Turbo set.
Gurley, 3 straight handles, and another big gain. This time 8. Havenstein helping clear the way down to the 30.
They don't run a lot of runs. All they're going to do is outside zone with a bunch of people going. And the reason why they just run it over and over again is because Gurley has that vision. You can feel things. Oh, look at that. Fake outside zone.
Going to go right back to Gurley. In the passing game, Gurley down the sidelines and jumps out of bounds near the 10.
It's almost simple but brilliant. Now they fake the exact play they just ran, and then everyone gets way out of there. You throw it to the guy. It's really impressive how McVay runs so few plays, but it's impossible to stop him because he does 7 things off the exact same look. I mean, we could go through a whole game and he might run the same personnel, which means 3 receivers, 1 tight end, and 1 tailback. And he might never change other than like a goal line or 3rd and 1 situation.
They've run that formation about, what, almost 90-something% of the time.
No one's even close.
Here's first and goal from the 10. And finally, an incompletion thrown a little low for Brandon Cooks, who they traded for in the offseason for a first-round pick. Got him from New England. And now McVay come up with another option here. It's so interesting to hear, though, when you're talking to the coaches, whether it's McVay or talking about Carroll yesterday when we visited with him, how they try to defend it. You talk about, and they all talk about the simplicity of it as they go to the end zone, and they got a touchdown to Gerald Everett. They answer right back off the Wilson touchdown throw. Goff gets one of his own.
Well, he's going to go up, and because Gurley comes out of the backfield, Everett's able to wrap right around right, and Goff looks him off, and that's, I mean, the way that Russell did before, Goff comes right back with a similar throw inside. Wow, these 2 teams are both, I mean, we all know the Rams are really good. Seattle's really good. This is a game that at the end of the year we could see another rematch of this if Seattle can get themselves in the playoffs. And today is a big time move they have to have.
Hugely important for them to consider that. Zuerlein adds the point after. 7-7. 6 completions to 5 different receivers. And I was making the point, Tony, you talk about the simple sameness of the formation. You know, the layman may look at this and say, these Star Wars numbers they put up as an offense, man, there's all kinds of innovative stuff happening here. But you're saying they do it basically out of 1 set.
Yeah, well, basically what they're doing is they're lining up with the same people on the field. Everyone else shuffles a whole bunch of different people on and off the field. They put the same people on the field, and they say, we do these 4 things, and we think they're really hard for you to determine which one is coming at you. And they do it really well, and they just, McVay does it at the right times. They got good people.
Touchback delivered by Zuerlein tonight. Big tech companies are making billions off of your personal data, but are they protecting it? Plus, these twins made a secret pact as children that has led them to become NFL teammates. The amazing Griffin brothers of the Seahawks. Their story tonight on 60 Minutes. It is just an amazing story how these two, Shaquem and Shaquille Griffin, their love for one another, the unity in that family. Pete Carroll just couldn't come up with enough superlatives to talk about the twins, the brothers. And there's Davis for 5. We've got an update Update time. New York bound we go.
Packers on the board first.
Yeah, Green Bay scores here. Aaron Rodgers finds Devontae Adams on the slant from 7 yards out. They take the early lead in Green Bay over Miami 7-0.
Back to L.A. Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, and Tracy Wolfson.
All right, thank you, fellas.
Hey,
Green Bay at 3-4-1 on the year. Look at the Bears. We saw them 2 weeks ago, Tony. Now it's 6-3 on the year.
When we saw them, we made the statement. We think we're looking at a playoff team, and their defense is outstanding. And that offense is tough to guard. They got that Kansas City offense.
2nd and 5, Baldwin with the catch for about 6. They'll be playing, by the way, the Bears another 11 days from now at Detroit on Thanksgiving Day. We'll be there to see that game and present it to you.
How good is that division? I mean, Minnesota is going to be there. You know they're good and tough. You know Green Bay with Rodgers, they're just not going to go away. The Bears, to win that division, you can't fake it. I mean, you're not going to fall into it. You got to go win it.
And Donald sitting out this play. As they shuttle in lineman. Rashad Penny, their first-round pick out of San Diego State. The running back is in. Saw Davis shaken up a couple of plays ago. And look at Penny get an opening. And Penny's taken off down the sideline. And able to close in on him was LaMarcus Joyner. But Penny peels off his longest play of his rookie season, 38 yards.
Well, it's an outstanding job up front. And really, Sweezy opens the hole, and Penny just takes off. And you see at the very end, Moore, 83, throws an outstanding block.
He just flattened.
And you see
defender, and the coach is trying to sprint and keep up with it.
If we could film these sidelines, these coaches, this is the battle of the coaches who run and have the most energy on the sideline in the league.
Hey,
We got to get a clip of that. Someone start filming that.
He said he run heavy today, especially by Seattle. I didn't know you were talking about the assistants. There's Wilson, flings it to Lockett, able to pivot around the defender, Bucam, and pick up another nice chunk, 9 yards.
See the play action game. Seattle getting out on the edge and having all day. Russell does a good job dropping right off to Lockett. And, this is where it's hard on the Rams. This is a physical Seattle bunch, and no one knows it yet, but they're starting to run the ball like they did when they were going to Super Bowls. We know their defense, is down with them.
2-6.
But this is eerily similar to that pound with Marshawn Lynch over and over again.
Push. You got 2-6.
It's Penny. And Penny, look at that move to the outside. And the rookie's going to score his first NFL touchdown. From 18 yards out.
Well, it's a fantastic cut. Watch the edge right here. We're going to put him in a bind. And Russell, as he gets this, you see right there, it'd be common just, he didn't know who to go to, and he went to the quarterback. And when he did, it was easy for Penny to cut right back with an easy walk-in touchdown.
C.J. Procise, one of the running backs, out to congratulate him, as Penny had 2 fantastic runs, the 38-yarder and then the 18-yard touchdown.
And this is why 7 starters hurts you. 7 new starters, it's just hard to learn all the system. Everyone to be gap sound on every play, Jim.
Janikowski adds the extra point. Yep, he grew up just 19 miles from the Coliseum in Norwalk, California, and he's got his first touchdown.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by AT&T. Committed to hiring 20,000 veterans by 2020. McDonald's Classic Meal Deal at participating McDonald's. And by USAA, official NFL Salute to Service partner.
Quite a start at the Coliseum. 3 total drives, 3 touchdowns between these two teams.
I feel like the Rams do that every week now. They're in a shootout of going back and forth over and over again. So this is why, though, Jim, they're scoring so many points, and they're in these games that are just high scoring over and over again. They're outside zone. That means the runner's going outside, and it's a zone concept blocking wise. And then they go and do it again, and it's pretty simple. A bunch of people cross the field. You don't give it to them, and their play action game is explosive. and then you just throw it to your back and you get, another 25, 30 yards. And there's a good chance you're going to see a similar formation and a similar outside zone right here on this play.
Here's the handoff.
Outside zone.
31 for Todd Gurley. Eric Dickerson, you saw on the sideline, knows a little thing or two about running the football.
And now they get up, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, we got to defend that zone, and then there's a play action, there's a screen. He just looks at the defense, and they're calling the play right here. You see him talking to everyone? Some guy's going to come back across the field, tight end, yes.
And here's a little toss to Woods. Nice wiggle. Picks up the first out to the 39. Robert Woods has become some reliable player for this team. Former USC star on this field.
Yeah, and you see his ability with that one cut. Goff up, looking at the line, telling people what to do. We're going to block these guys. Here's the play versus this coverage.
Got a new set of downs, 39-yard line, and completion for a short gain. Cooper Kupp with his second catch of the game.
So you see how they're doing it at the line of scrimmage? That's a lot of different formations, and I mean, they just tossed it to a receiver, calling that at the line of scrimmage.
What kind of quarterback you got to be able to assimilate all of that information?
I mean, you got to be really smart, and you got to really work at it every week, and your coach has to come up with new things, but yet are really simple. And so they're running the same stuff, but it's really like new, but it's off the same look. It's the exact same look to the defense over and over.
2nd and 7. Looks to go deep, and he connects on the sideline again. It is a catch by Kupp.
See if he gets in. Looks good to me.
Picks up 25, and
yeah, that's in. I mean, this route combination was fantastic. They ran a bunch wheelie kind of thing by a slot receiver who ran an out cut and then up the field. Stuff you don't see.
Kupp, they were glad to have back last week, even though he ended up on the short end of the score down in New Orleans. He had missed a couple of games with a knee injury. What a second-year star he's turned out to be out of Eastern Washington. Inside handoff. And that is Woods taking it for 14 that time.
So watch this. You got to respect the outside zone. So when you do that defensively, we run right back inside off the same look that we do with everything else. I mean, we can't talk about them enough. It's really hard to defend. Now Seattle's going back to what they did up front the first time that gave the Rams trouble. These three big guys are going to be way low inside and say, you're done running these little things.
So
you got to throw it.
Inside the 20. Goff goes over to Gurley. Steps aside from one defender. Takes it for 4.
So we've talked about that front before. That's the old Bears from the 80s. They basically say, you're done running the football. We're putting these guys right here. You're not pulling a guard. You're not moving a center anywhere. We're going to go ahead and say, you're throwing the football. The old 46.
46 defense of Buddy Ryan.
Yeah, call it the Bear front. Let's see if those three big guys line up right over the center and guards as you see Goff with a hot start.
9 out of 10, including the touchdown pass to Everett. 2nd and 6. Takes the handoff to Gurley. Over to Kupp, and it's going to set him back about 3 yards. McDougal with a nice stick to close out quarter the number 1. Exciting start it has been. 14-7 Seahawks after the first 15 minutes. Happy Veterans Day, and thank you to all of our magnificent veterans for your service. First quarter numbers, 104 yards on the ground by the Seahawks. But now the Rams are driving again too. That's all we've seen so far. Touchdown drives in this game. Rams trying to make it 4 for 4 between the two teams. But they got a 3rd and 8 with Goff able to get out of the pocket and throw it away. Chased out by the likes of Dion Jordan. It's his 2nd incompletion.
It's a coverage sack. I mean, no one's really open here. And Goff has to get out of the pocket. When you roll right and everyone's going left, there's not a lot of place for the quarterback to throw. And it was early, and I thought he was going to try and fit one in. Not the time for it. It was a good decision.
So Greg Zuerlein, 21 consecutive makes inside of 40. And that's going to qualify right here for that same stat 35 yards.
Did you get him here?
Yeah, come on. You know, what do you think?
Yeah, he overcomes.
I don't do that. I don't do the announcers' jigs.
Nope, never.
Field goal drive, it ends up being for the Rams. 14-10 Seattle.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Verizon. The best unlimited is on Verizon, America's most awarded network. And by Domino's. Order online at Domino's.com.
Yeah, you saw Aaron Donald and other Rams partnering with the American Red Cross on the Holidays for Heroes military appreciation campaign, where Rams players, cheerleaders, and staff visited local schools and engaged the students in personalizing holiday cards of appreciation for military members and veterans. Well, Lockett saw 2 touchbacks come in his direction. Ready in this game. Will he get a run back chance here? No. Well, the NFL is deeply committed to Salute to Service, the league's year-round effort to honor, empower, and connect with our nation's service members, veterans, and their families. Join us in thanking those who bravely serve our country and generate an NFL donation to its military nonprofit partners by visiting NFL.com/salute. C.J. Prosise is the running back.
And another extra tackle in the game, no tight end.
There's Wilson's pass to Lockett. And he's decked after 8, maybe 9.
Well, you see, when the tight end goes out for these guys, they bring in George Font. And you see, he's playing a tight end position. And this is why they're big and physical. Those are usually tight end blocks. And they just keep playing football like, we don't care. We're putting him in at tight end, and he's a tackle, and he is athletic and strong, and this is why they're a power running team, and you see him out there again playing tight end.
Former basketball player at Western Kentucky.
That's why he can move.
2nd and 2. Here's the handoff. Prosise had 2 Rams waiting for him, including Aaron Donald. And for more on Aaron, let's go down to Tracy.
Well, he's definitely going to be pleased with that one. He has been growing very frustrated here early on. He feels as though he's being held and it's not being called. He played 100% of the snaps last week, but not this week, as he's already been pulled off the field once for coaches to just be able to calm him down. So certainly something to watch, Jim.
That's great, Tracy. And you know what? This is exactly the game on how you beat this front. Aaron Donald's not going to be as important if you're going to run it 40 times.
3rd and 5. Look at all the Rams on the line. 7 of them now. And, of course, 3 of them drop back as Wilson is taken down at the 21. It was Donald who got to him first, along with John Franklin Myers.
Right on cue, talking about him, and he says, I know you're passing. So here he comes right here, pushes Sweezy right back into the quarterback. And watch, boom, right into you.
And just bull rushing J.R. Sweezy.
He's so disruptive. I mean, on the tape, it leaps off at you. It's like, wow, this is rare.
Michael Dixon, rookie punter out of Texas. There was pressure up the middle by Littleton, but he got it away, and he boomed it all the way back to the 15. Nelson trying to run it back. 68-yard punt. Thankfully, no one hurt here. Watch this between 2 Seahawks. Shaquem Griffin, Akeem King collide helmet to helmet, and they're still talking about it on the sideline as Natson returned it out to the 21, where the Rams will start now for the 3rd drive of the game. Complete. Cooks with the catch for 9. Hey, you mentioned earlier how important it is. You think the Seahawks have a chance to do something if they can maybe get past this week. They're 4-4.
Yeah, no one gave them a ton of credit at the beginning of the year. You lost all the great players, during their heyday era, you could say, which was really just recent, but you didn't think they'd come out and I mean, they're physical, Jim. They really are a different team. You see a good play action by Goff.
And he fires it past Cooks. Well, you look at that, of course, it's going to have to probably be, you never know, but through the wild card route for Seattle, because you look at, here's the flip side of it, at the top of that division, if the Rams win today and win in Mexico City next Monday night against Kansas City, and then Seattle loses on Thursday night to Green Bay,
they wrap the division.
The division's over already. I mean, it could be as early as 8 days from now. The Rams have a scenario where they could win the West.
Which is really early to do that. Now, the reality of it is the Rams are going to come out of this division, obviously, I think, winning it. But Seattle is such a better team now than they were early in the year. It would be really tough for them not to get a chance to have a game getting into the playoffs or get there, because I think that they're that team who keeps getting better and better each week.
Timeout called by the
First.
Rams to beat the play clock.
Charge timeout.
Third and foot coming up.
Los Angeles.
All right, so the Rams face third and less than a yard.
Well, you're going to see Seattle get really low. See that front? That's the old 46 now. See how they're really tight in there? That means you ain't going to run this right in the A-gap. And now it's got to run right outside here. So you're going to make that tackle if they run it.
Going to go up top, pick it up with Kupp. Cooper Kupp able to speed ahead for about 8. His 5th catch now for the 39 yards.
Watch this up here. It's a screen, but there's only one guy who can defend that. So it's a handoff, but they have the option to throw out there and just, I mean, really simple play, but brilliant. It's like that guy has to be involved in the run game on 3rd and 1, or he doesn't.
Fake it to Gurley and go down the middle of the field. Open target. It is Cooks on the Seattle side of the 50.
And this is outside zone. Let's fake it this way. Nope. Sorry, Seahawks. You ran all that way and then just come out and throw a deep curl. I mean, it's just Seattle's playing and doing things correctly. It's just they just have people in perfect spots based on the play calls.
That was a 17-yard hookup between Goff and Cooks.
Set, you know. 180. Set, right 5-4. Hey, feel like drive. Turbo set.
Gurley gets the handoff. Early contact on him, and he fights for everything he can out of a 3-yard gain. Well, you talk about the foundation they have here with Gurley just in his 4th year, Goff his 3rd year, young fleet of receivers.
And they're faking that same fake over and over again.
And that pass well defended there by Shaquille Griffin, intended for Woods. Now you look at what they've done offensively since McVay came on board. They were last in the league in scoring the year before he got there. They go from 32nd to 1st in his 1st year. First time in the history of the league that ever happened.
Well, there's a few factors, but the first one is him right there. Sean McVay is different. The second one's right there, that guy. Those two just, they're outstanding. Goff got better, made that big leap from year 1 to 2 like all great quarterbacks do. And then you're exactly right. Just, it was impressive. That's why if you get a great scheme, it matters. It really does.
3rd and 7. Coming after him, and they've taken down at the 48 on the Rams side. That was Jefferson with the sack.
Great pass rush by Jefferson. He never stops, and it's just a twist. He gets inside and gets the leverage on it, and that's one area. The Rams, how many times do you see them just straight drop back pass, Jim? Not very often. I mean, it just, okay, that's like the 3rd time. Well, that's the one area where you can get them is when you know they're passing, you can kind of get to the quarterback once in a while.
You got to watch out for Hecker. Throw it, he can fake it and run with it like he did last week. You saw Ken Norton, by the way, celebrating on the sideline as his defense was able to take the Rams off the field and force a first punt of the game. Back to Seattle with a lead. We got a late flag over on the far side, 28.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 24 of the kicking team. That penalty is 15 yards from the succeeding spot. Automatic, first down, timeout.
That's Blake Countess. Again, this is not a heavily penalized team, but that's 3 personal foul calls already on the Rams, 1 quarter and 5 minutes.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Pizza Hut, official pizza sponsor of the NFL. FedEx, possibilities, what we deliver by delivery. And by United States Air Force. Experience more at airforce.com.
Well, the defense is starting to firm up a little bit in the second quarter after we saw 270 total yards of offense in the first 15 minutes. Just 26 yards so far netted between the two in the second. Here's a first down for Seattle. And that's Mike Davis, who was able to squeeze out 4 out of very little there. Formerly a member of the 49ers, stays in the division, and they've been impressed by what he's been able to do in a reserve role when he's been called on. We're talking about how Pete Carroll loves to emphasize the ground game. They talk about all the history he had here at the Coliseum with the old Reggie Bush days, Lindell White, Marshawn Lynch days up in Seattle, and they've been running with great efficiency since week 3. Not this time, though. No gain. Ibukam with the tackle that time. Yeah, since opening with 2 losses, they've led the league in rushing ever since that time.
Well, this is why they can lead the league in rushing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys, okay? Well, there's only 6 blockers right there. That means someone is free for the Rams. And the Seahawks are still running the ball successfully into fronts like that. No one else is even trying, and they're coming up with new ways to do it. That's good coaching.
3rd and 6. Good crowd here at the Coliseum urging on this defense as they get to Wilson for a second time. And once again, it's Aaron Donald. His second sack already.
Just a fantastic. Look at Sue and Donald go right around, and then you send a linebacker right in the middle. I mean, it's a great stunt. And I'm telling you, when they know you're passing, it's really difficult to block these guys. That's why you have to be good on 1st and 2nd down. Keep them off balance.
Yep, both of his sacks have come on 3rd down. Gives him 12 now on the season. In fact, he has sacked now Russell Wilson more than any other quarterback in the league. Gets 2 cracks on him a year. That's 10 times he's sacked him. Natson down to about the 24. Another penalty marker is out. Yeah, 10 times now Donald in 5 seasons has brought down Russell Wilson, including 2 today. Is there a better defensive player in the league right now?
Not right now. I mean, Mack got off to that torrid start, but he's the defensive player of the year. You know, Donald.
During the return, holding, number 41 of the return team. That penalty is half the distance to goal. First down, timeout.
Well, he was last year, too.
I think you're seeing back-to-back.
Back with the Rams. And Goff going to take this first snap of this drive under center. Straight running play. Gurley showing that speed for 11. Well, Sean McVay talking about his young quarterback. You can see why he told us he was the #1 overall pick. He's got a special feel for the game. As you see Gurley just racing ahead for another big run, why he leads the league in rushing. But he loves his even keel nature, the quarterback. That's what McVay says, and he's good for when there's a negative play or something happens, it doesn't let it affect him, and his teammates love him.
And he's playing fantastic, and those emotional levels you talk about right there are key for a quarterback, your ability to keep points. As the Rams run the same play over and over again.
And it works again for Gurley.
Just outside zone right, outside zone left. Play action right off the outside zone. Play action left. Oh, now we hand it off to a receiver who goes left outside zone or right.
First play went for 11. That one goes for 9 more. Gurley up to 7 rushes for 49. 7 yards a clip. He has a chance at reaching 1,000 today. Needs 132 yards. Not that that's what it used to be, but 1,000 yards this early in the season would be quite an achievement. 2nd and 1. Looking deep ball, looking deep, and safety got the connection with Woods at the Seattle 48.
And you see the play action, and just this was a perfect ball because he threw it down and away. That route comes all the way across the field, and you can throw it high and over people if you're in zone. Because it was man, he did a great job, Woods, of flattening down, and Goff then fires it down and away, making it look easy.
Talking about Gurley's moving in on 1,000. Goff is moving in on 3,000 here just past the midway point of the season, just about 38 yards away from it right now.
Well, don't you love what they did though? I mean, we talk about them going all in, right? This offseason, a little risky, but me and you talk about why they did that.
Here's the toss to Gurley. Breaks a tackle. He's got another first down for 10. What they're trying to do, put this team together around this young quarterback. You got contract situations to work through and everything else.
Yeah, and
down the road.
Here's another run that goes outside. This time they just toss it instead of handing it off. And what you just said is exactly right. The quarterback on that rookie contract allows you to go all in and put a lot of aggressiveness in free agency in some other areas. Great decision by them.
We'll be back in 30 seconds after this from State Farm. So this drive began back at the 14 just 4 plays ago, and every play, all 4 of them have picked up big yardage. The shortest play of the 4, just a 9-yard run by Gurley. Here they go out of the gun on first down. Goff will slide for about 5 at the feet of KJ Wright. You got with Goff and Gurley and Donald, you maybe have 3 MVP candidates overall on this team.
You're right. You can throw Sean McVay in there if you want.
Yeah. Coach of the year last year. Here's Goff spinning around and flings it in the area of Kupp. And that is going to be ruled an incompletion. That was Jacob Martin who was coming after him.
That's fantastic. Watch. You'll see the pressure on the outside. Clark, who's been getting off the ball outstanding this year, and Goff. Oh, I got to throw this away. I don't have any more time. Just throw it.
Oh.
And he gets it away. It's
risky.
It's risky, but I think his instincts are well enough to know there wasn't anybody over there. So I like it. It's not. It looks a little strange, but it was pretty smart.
Save 6 or 7 yards.
Yeah, they're in field goal range still.
Here's the 3rd and 6. And again, quickly, they get it to Cooks. Defender tries to hurdle over the block of Woods, but it didn't do much good. That was Tedrick Thompson flying past Cooks, who picks up 10.
Watch the blitz. You can't get a better play call on to throw a screen than the guy who's guarding you is blitzing.
Watch the leap here to nowhere.
Oh.
Hey, he's over here.
You'd have thought he was on offense. Seattle right here. I mean, you know that the Rams are explosive. They're going to move the football. Really, it's in the red zones where you can't give up this big play right here. You got to make them grind it out over and over again.
Move the chains to the 24. Look at this little jet sweep. Had 2 Rams look like they could catch it. It's Cooks tiptoeing down the sideline for about 7. It's an update. Let's go to New York.
Slugfest in Oakland.
Yeah, Phillip Rivers is going to find Keenan Allen right here from 11 yards out. A 10-3 lead at the half. Phillip Rivers' 20th touchdown of the year.
Back to Jim Nantz.
And there's a guy, too, that should be in the MVP discussion with what he's done so far this year. Phillip Rivers and the Chargers at 6-2, having defeated Seattle last week. That last play was a pass play for 7. Sets up a 2nd and 3. Back in the red zone. Now they toss it outside to Gurley. Gurley got an opening. Gurley on the go! Touchdown, Los Angeles! Wait till you see the block by Robert Woods.
Well, Woods seals the edge, and look at Whitworth. right there. That's your left tackle.
Look how far down the field he
30
is.
yeah, like 17 yards. And right in front of him, his left tackle, and he goes, boom. But he got 2 people before then. Whitworth outstanding on the edge, and Gurley. You give him those space. That's why they let him run only 2 or 3 runs. They're like, you're so good. Just if you can see it over and over again, you're going to make good cuts all the time.
Extra point, Zerline, good. Gurley now with a touchdown in 13 straight games. Back in 30 seconds after this from Lowe's. All right, Wilson looks over at his teammates, say, we've got to come back. Well, you got to answer back. And you were talking about Andrew Whitworth. You know, he's donating his game check this week to the Thousand Oaks shooting victims and families, the families of the victims. A tremendous gesture by one of the co-captains of the Rams. Made a big, big block on that touchdown.
Tremendous leader for this team and this community. That's what you want out of your best players in your team. It's not just about this team, it's this area. And believe me, they were heartbroken this week.
And another Zerline touchback delivered. Saturday, the SEC on CBS brings you the best game from the best conference. Missouri battles Tennessee, and the day kicks off with the College Football Today at 3 Eastern next Saturday on CBS. Since the Seahawks' second drive, which was their second touchdown, they've only put together, can you believe it? Honey, put together, they've dropped back 4 yards, while the Rams have put up 173 yards of offense, including that last drive, which marched 86 yards to the end zone.
Well, you see now they're going with a little more spread. Not the extra tight end who's a tackle. As you see the pass rush here taking a long time to get to the
Delay
quarterback.
game.
Oh, there we go.
Offense number 3.
Took a long time to
5-yard
snap
penalty.
it.
First
Couldn't
down.
even hear it.
5.
Yeah, I couldn't hear it. Delay a game. Everyone kept playing.
Coming up, the Verizon halftime report. JB, Phil, Nate Boomer, Coach Gower, scores and highlights coming up on the Verizon halftime report. All that went on earlier today, including Tennessee's big win over New England.
I mean, that was surprising. I mean, the Pats have lost before, you know, but not this late in the year very often. That kind of loss.
And not like that this late in the season.
I mean, when was the last time? I mean, not that you have it off the top of your head, but I mean, it's been a while since they lose this late in the year. In November, December, they don't lose this, not this big.
Well, the last loss, I just happen to know that, in November or later by 14 or more points was back in November of 2010 at Cleveland.
Wow, 8 years ago.
Which was Eric Mangini's finest moment as the Browns coach in his time there.
That is 2 games now. You had Patricia and then Vrabel, right?
Yep, 2 Belichick assistants with 2 wins this year.
They just know him. It makes it harder.
2nd and 4. And nice powerful run by Davis out to about the 45. Going to bring us to the 2-minute warning. Rams taking the lead on Seattle here, 17-14. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Subway. Make it what you want. And by Kay Jewelers. For all the moments, for love, forever.
So far in this game, Russell Wilson has thrown it only 5 times. 4 completions, including a touchdown, but they have amassed 129 yards on the ground. So doing exactly what they wanted to do. Completes this one to Davis. Stutter step move. Just pushes one defender out of the way and takes it to the 50. We talked to Pete Carroll. This is what they want. He wants to run it 30-plus times. But getting back to your point, when Russell was young in this league and not the recipient of a huge contract, they were going to back-to-back NFC championships and on to the Super Bowl, winning one of them.
It's how you can get these other players and go risk a few things. I mean, Seattle kept a lot of big-time talent around, and you're seeing now guys get a little older, things happen, but when that contract for the guy who's getting paid the most on the team isn't there, you really should be aggressive in free agency. You should really be, I don't want to say going all in, but that's kind of the attitude. And Pete Carroll and them, you keep your best talent. You don't let them leave in the offseason. And I think the Rams are doing the same thing right now. They're just a little bit different way because on offense, they're dynamic.
Davis picked up the first down. He's now up to 50 on the ground off 9 carries, replaced by Penny.
This should be a timeout if you're Seattle here.
3 Rams throw him to the ground, and there is the quick timeout at 46 seconds.
It's exactly how you should play this so far. Don't let the Rams get back on the field, but still use your timeouts and get yourself in position.
Coming up, the Verizon halftime report. Again, JB, Phil, Nate, Boomer, Coach Cower. Scores and highlights coming up on the Verizon halftime report. This being one of 3 games in the late afternoon window. Chargers up 14 on the Raiders, early third. Miami and Green Bay, last minute of the second quarter. Packers 14-9 up on top of the Dolphins. Cleveland wins today over Atlanta. It's one of the teams that the Seattle fans will keep an eye on for scenarios down the road. Seattle, you were talking about wild card possibilities way down the road, but Atlanta losing today doesn't hurt their cause in Seattle. 2nd and 11. Pass caught. Turnaround, backing up a couple yards after the catch was Baldwin.
Well, now you don't take a timeout because you're a 3rd down, but you do kind of hurry. You want to get this ball snapped by 22 seconds right here. Oh.
There's the timeout called now.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I don't mind that because what you're doing now is you're thinking if we have to punt, then you're at least not giving them really that much time. The Rams aren't going to try anything on offense if they're getting the ball back with 20 seconds. Problem for me is if you're in a position where you get this and it's now 4th and 1, you're in that really weird spot of kicking a really long field goal or going for it. And if you kick the field goal and miss, now you've given the Rams a little bit more time to actually do something there at the 40-yard line.
And that's what happened last week for Vance Joseph and Denver, and it backfired, missing the long field goal, leading to Houston scoring right before the half.
It changes. These are big plays. Come back to haunt you.
3rd and 7. Sliding and throwing, and in his hands, but knocked out by Littleton. Davis thought he might make the catch, but well defended by Littleton, who stripped it.
Oh, he's got a punt. They don't have him going out on the field yet. Ooh, just a good job. Good defensive effort right here. Littleton.
Yeah, just hit him right in the back. So they're still huddled on the sideline.
Yeah, they're considering. I mean, here's the thing. You can try and draw them off sides. It's not going to get you a 1st down, but it would put you in field goal range. So to me, you're taking a penalty here. Try and draw them off sides, move the ball center, do something. And if all of a sudden you get them 5, you're kicking a field goal. All of a sudden they don't do it, you go back 5 yards, it's just helping your punter.
Here's Dixon. Takes a little bit off of it. Hits it the 1. What a bounce. And look at that coverage downfield. Perfectly done and down by Martin. 40-yard punt to the 1 by the former Ray Guy Award winner in college out of Texas. Ray Guy, of course, Hall of Famer for the Raiders, who punted on this very field when the Raiders moved to Los Angeles way back when.
Wow, that's the kind of backspin you want to have. Look at it.
Yeah, come on back. Come on back.
Come on back. Look, he's got PGA on his deal. Of course, that's for
Paul Allen, the owner, great owner of the Seahawks, who recently passed away.
So right here, you're just going to run this ball right up the gut. You can't really do anything other than just hand this ball off right here, coming to this side.
Let him kneel down by Goff.
That's smarter even.
Take it to the locker room.
Yep.
Good first half here.
If you're both teams, you're probably happy with where you're at right now. Now it's going to be about who's going to go in and adjust to what the other team's been doing and get your team into position to really have a drive at the end of this game to win.
That's the end of the first half, with the Rams leading at 17-14. Halftime is next after these first half highlights from Verizon and a word from your local station. We're back, and the Rams, who deferred, will be receiving the second half kickoff. Let's take a look at our first half heroes presented by Downey. And look at Gurley. Again, Woods, Whitworth, through key blocks. Gurley has a touchdown in 13 consecutive games. But that defense of Wade Phillips only allowed 2 first downs by Seattle in the second quarter after Seattle ran up and down the field the first 2 possessions for touchdowns.
Yeah, and you could see when Seattle had a lot of success early in the game, they played with the extra tackle, who's the tight end, and they're physical. Seattle is playing like old school, like do you remember back in Nebraska?
Nebraska, Oklahoma.
Like Tom Osborne days.
Yeah.
They're literally trying to, Seattle, run the football 45 times in these football games. They want to do that, and then they want to take their play actions and get their shots. And you're seeing a little bit like, these are 2 drastically different styles, yet it's kind of cool to see how this is going to play out and the adjustments that you have to make. And I don't know, it was a really neat game coming in because of the way that Seattle's doing it and the way that the Rams are doing it. We're going to see which one comes out ahead.
All right, Janikowski.
I do think this is an important drive, as they all are, but this one, because if Seattle wants to keep that same philosophy of running, you got to stay close.
That's like the old, getting back to your point, the old wishbone days and
they got to run,
Nebraska,
keep the
Oklahoma
clock
type thing. All right, Tracy, down to you. What did you learn at halftime?
Well, Jim, I spoke with Pete Carroll and I asked him how he handles this big play offense from the LA Rams, and he said they haven't been able to yet. He said there are just so many things they need to fix. First and foremost, though, is the runs by Todd Gurley. In terms of the defense, he said he needs to see a lot more, or actually a lot less, of Aaron Donald. That 4-man rush really hurting them, Jim.
Yep, 2 sacks for Donald in that first half, and Gurley, his biggest concern, 9 carries for 76 yards. Here is Gurley, and he just slips right through an ankle tackle and gallops out to the 39 for a pickup of 14. Now at 90 for the game. Thompson makes the tackle in the secondary. You can do quarterback comparison. This is where stats do lie, though. I mean, it's not like Russell Wilson's having a bad game here, folks.
No,
I mean,
it's because they're committed to this running. When you have a tackle in at tight end, you're literally going and saying we're going to run the football 90% of the time. And Russell, though, that's why they can run into those bad numbers, because he's also a runner. And so you see why Penny scored earlier. It's because the D lineman took the quarterback.
Here's the toss outside to Gurley. And he's got another 5 or 6. Seattle, again, the emphasis on the ground game. They did have 133 yards rushing in the first half. Think about that, the pace of that. 266 yards. I mean, this is what Seattle's plan is, and it's been effective for them.
It is.
Having a couple of great carries, including a touchdown run.
Right here, though, they've got to stop Gurley. And when you commit to that, look at how much time Goff has there.
Over the head of Cooper Kupp. And that was Coleman into coverage.
So if you're Seattle right now, we know Gurley's, really hurting us. He has 100 yards basically rushing almost already. And so if you're Seattle, the way to stop the run is to do the front we talked about earlier, the old 46. That's going to make you pass. The problem is when you do that, it's going to get them a little bit out of who they want to be. They don't want to do that. But if you're going to stop this run, you got to do all these guys right in here tight. Now this is a blitz and a dropout kind of a formation when one guy comes, one comes out.
On 3rd down, Goff. The flag flying. Catch is made by Cooks. Coleman was the defender, picked up 8 for the first. Seattle's pointing toward the Rams. We'll see.
And the Rams are pointing to Seattle.
Holding. Defense, number 28. That penalty will be declined. Result of the play, 1st down.
It was Coleman who was in coverage on Cooks. The play stands, and a 1st down for the Rams, who have scored a touchdown in every game this year, all 9 games. The only team in the league, that is in the 3rd quarter, the only team in the league to score a touchdown in the 3rd quarter in all 9 games.
This is really hard to stop the run. Outside zone, you see this? I mean, it's the same play.
There's Gurley, he's got his 100-yard game and a few extra.
With that front and what you're playing on defense, you're just really putting yourself in a tough spot for a lot of guys to do things correctly. And You know, you're going to have to adjust here if you're Seattle to really stop Gurley.
2nd down and 3.
So now watch when you're watching, take a look at the tight end. His leverage and where he aligns will tell you a lot. Is he off the ball a little bit? Is he back here? Is he way up close? So he's really close. I don't think he's going to come down the line. Someone else is.
Costa has it, and he throws it to Gurley. Right in the whole group of Ram blockers, and he's able to take that to the 25. Sullivan and Blythe were right there with him to help open that up.
They've been setting this up over and over. Gurley's so good in space. And now they get right back on the ball. You don't think the D-line is tired? They can just come out and hand off to the receiver this time and back, take it.
There's Goff in trouble. And you got Frank Clark on him. Another Seattle defender as well.
Well, this is communication. This is why it's a screen pass. He's supposed to let him go by. It's a screen for the team. The problem was only half the guys got the play call correct. So that's the problem with calling the plays always at the line, is once in a blue moon, one of the 11 doesn't know exactly what the play was called.
That's what apparently happened that time. Deion Jordan will split that sack, along with Frank Clark. Malcolm Brown comes in for Gurley on 2nd and 14.
Full start. Offense number 65. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Well, the sack and then the penalty. Will that stall this opening drive of the 2nd half? As you see, Roger Saffold comes off ahead of time. So 2nd and 19, back at the 34.
2nd down.
It's a big call. I want to see right here. This is interesting because you can do anything here. If you love the run game, you can hand it off. You can play action. You can do whatever.
So you give it to Cooks on a wide receiver screen, and he gets about 6 or 7 back. Still sets up 3rd and long.
Why that was a good call? Because it puts you in field goal range no matter what happens on 3rd down outside of a sack. So if you try and get 20 yards there and don't get it,
and get incomplete,
now you're in that position.
You're right on the borderline. Well, we'll see. 3rd and 14. They gave him only 5 that time. And again, Gurley is out for this down. Malcolm Brown, the running back. It's going to be Brown. Walker out in front. Brown tries to split defenders, but he stopped 3 yards short. Well done. Seattle defense converging, including Jaron Reed, along with Mingo.
Okay, now it's coach's call. What are you going to do?
He's going to go field goal. He's going to bring out Zerline.
Exactly right. It's the correct play. He doesn't want to. He was thinking. It's not 4th and 1, though. It's
4th and 4 or a 37-yard field goal. Zerline, who is with 1 made today from 35. 12 out of 14 on the year. He missed the previous Seahawks game back on week 5 with a groin injury. Zerline's kick is true, right into the net. 5-minute-plus drive leads to a field goal, 6-point lead. Well, the Rams were down 14-7 in the first quarter. They've scored now 13 unanswered. 5 minutes and change into the 2nd half. And now Seattle's offense about to see the field for the first time in a while. Real time, that is. Once again, they'll start a series from the 25. Aaron Donald has been his usual disruptive self.
Well, if he knows you're passing, he's a little chippy. They're going back and forth. And you know he's aggressive, and he knows you're passing. He is coming at you with different moves, speed, power, leverage. And you see how he closes at the finish? And look at the energy. He just hops up and keeps going like he's going to rush a passer again. I do like Seattle's plan. They've come out and they're back into the big tight end now, playing the tackle, playing tight end right here on the bottom.
That's Fant. He's going to move around a bit. Switch over to that left side, first down snap coming.
You can use that in play action just like they do here.
Coming after him. And Wilson able to get the pass away. Flag is down. Ball is picked by Peters. Baldwin says it's going to be pass interference on the Rams or a hold.
Yeah, I think that's going to be Peters with a hold.
Prior to the pass, holding. Defense number 22. 5-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
Peters, who they went out and traded for in the offseason from Kansas City, former NFL Rookie Defensive Player of the Year.
Well, you can't do that. It's after 5 yards, and he holds them the whole time, and then he yanks him at the top. Peters has not been as good in man-to-man coverage. In zone, he needs to play off and look into the quarterback and use his instincts. And they're trying to put him in those situations more and more. He got hurt against the Saints a little bit, and they used some of his aggressiveness against him.
Now he's given up 591 yards passing as Peters, and 6 touchdowns, second most in the league coming into the week after they took the pick away. He threw the football up into the stands, and it's a handoff to Rashad Penny for about 4.
Boy, the Rams are starting to, they're lining up in there. They're trying to stop this run with everything. They're putting the 8th man down there early, and they're putting the linebackers tighter to the line of scrimmage. They're daring Seattle to throw the football right now. Look at how many guys are right down here in that box. And the safety who's supposed to be way back is there. The other safety's up top.
2nd and 6, running play, successful again, enough for the first by Penny. 2 carries for 10 yards these last 2 snaps, and Penny now 4 carries for the game for 60.
Look at that, 50% of the time they run the football in the NFL. That's why they're playing good, though. I mean, that's why Brian Schottenheimer's done an excellent job coming up with ways to run it versus tough looks.
It had
Keep involved.
17 rushes today, 8 pass attempts. This will be another rush. A nice one it is. He stretches out near the first down. They give him the first, picks up 11.
Dante Fowler's rushing off the edge and commits to the run.
Here's Donald with 2 on him.
You run the football, you can neutralize Donald and Sue inside. These guys are dynamic pass rushers. In the run game, though, you're always attacking them instead of the other way around.
Fetty, one of those linemen who was able to keep him out of the play. 1st and 10, back to Penny. This is exactly the play he ran for a touchdown, and it's working again with Wilson out there. Finally, Wilson gets out of the play as Penny peels off another big gainer.
Just another fantastic job. Watch Penny's great cut, and then Wilson says, I got you. There's too many guys. I'm done, Penny. You're on your own. Here you go.
What am I
me.
doing here?
Follow me. Okay, you're on your own.
A late flag has been thrown in. So again, there was a little fracas
After play
going
was
on.
over, unsportsmanlike conduct, offense number 65. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Ooh, the penalty on Germain Ifedi takes out 15 of the 24 yards picked up on that run. Push the football all the way back to the 40.
Well, I think at the end it's probably him and Donald.
That penalty is the first in the
Donald
category of
walking past him.
unsportsmanlike.
Yep,
If
65.
number 65 gets another penalty,
A little
he
push
will
in the
be
face usually
disqualified.
somewhere. Oh, I couldn't quite see from that angle.
Well, it was like Ifedi thought, hey, you're not going to walk right through the middle of our half huddle here.
I didn't see anything to call the penalty on there.
Still going to be it's 1st and 10, even with the 15 yards. So after the play and the mark off, 1st and 10, back at the 40. Davis back at running back.
This is where you take your shot right here if you're Seattle. Something faking and and then offsides, and then false start.
Full start.
Another 5.
Offense, number 81. 5-yard penalty. First down.
You know, when we were talking to Pete yesterday, one thing he said, when you're going to be attacking the game like we do, with an emphasis on running the football, penalties is such a big thing for us. We just can't afford to make those mistakes when you're a team with a run emphasis.
Yeah, and it's because you just can't make up 12 yards because you just throw a little, out route real quick or back show. It's not, they want to rely on this offense to hold this football for 35, 40 minutes if they can.
First and 15 from the gun. Scrambling for the second time and sliding for about 6. Seahawks, by the way, now on the game have 183 yards rushing. It's the 6th straight game they've had at least 150 on the ground, which is a new team record, 6 straight.
Yeah, you remember we always talked about the great defense and they'd run the ball. That was their formula to win the Super Bowl. Well, now they're running it better. I mean, that's 6 straight games. That wasn't who they were early in the year, but they're finding their identity. Brian Schottenheimer got used to Russell Wilson and his skill set and some of these unique things he can do in that running game. And they've kind of just opened up Pandora's box here with trying new stuff, and you're seeing them pay dividends.
Second and 10. They're going to go over to Lockett. He's able to catch up with it. What a tackle. What a tackle by Troy Hill. It looked like Wilson may have led him just right to be able to get out into the open field.
Here he is, Hill. Watch how far he's got to run. He's running with Lockett, and they're going to fake it, and then you've got to come all the way across that field with nobody else around. If you miss that tackle, that's 20 yards, and that tackle right there is why in man coverages you get good tacklers, coaches look better, teams play better, plays like that.
3rd and 11. They also have him out of field goal range at this point, presumably, even with Janikowski's big leg. Here's Wilson. Incomplete. He's trying to go to Moore.
I just wanted Moore to have a little feel. It's a curl route, so he's got to turn back to the quarterback, but there's a guy under him. Move over more, move over more. And he does, but...
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 56.
Oh, boy.
It's a dead ball foul. This is the first in the category for number 56. If he gets another foul like that, he will be disqualified.
Well, he did get called, you remember, in the opening drive of the game for roughing the passer, but that isn't related when you go into that category of a player being ejected from the game. But this one goes onto that ledger. It's his 2nd big penalty today. So
that's a
unsportsmanlike conduct. You get it? Now right back to the other side.
Oh, you're off the field. I mean, that's, as a coach, there's nothing more frustrating than penalties after the play is done. You're not even giving me effort. You're just, being silly. You see Wade Phillips right in front of him. And now you got to come over and explain why.
And the same thing that happened on his penalty on roughing the passer on the opening drive of the game, it would have taken him off the field. Exactly. Instead, a new set of downs, and hold on, this play is whistled dead. So Fowler's penalties keep drives alive twice.
Which in these time of possession games, can't do it.
Timeout, Rams.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Green Book. In theaters this Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Chipotle. For real. And by State Farm. Here to help life go right.
We are back, and the Seahawks off the penalty on Fowler, who was given his first warning. Stands on the sideline, giving Russell Wilson first down at the 26. Penny is the running back, tailback. Penny for about 3. And here's what happened. Started out, look on the right side of the screen. This is what made Fowler upset. He's being held. And he's complaining to Hussey.
And he says something right there to him.
Must not have been very nice.
Couldn't have been that nice, because that's
I just watching you. That's where you should be on camera right there. Second and
I wanted to say something.
Wilson going to the end zone. Oh, what a catch It's Lockett with the reception for the touchdown.
Wow, this is an outstanding throw. It's just a normal play action, and Russell, he knows the corner's not looking, so he throws a 50-50 ball.
And watch who he throws the football to. You ready for this?
Well, I think it's Lockett. Do you have something else that I don't know?
I'm talking Lockett.
Oh, right there.
He gives up the football. Going to keep you in suspense. Janikowski, extra point to go up by a point.
Perfect throw, perfect catch. And you got this, Jim.
Floyd Mayweather just joined Dan Marino and Peyton Manning, third quarterback all time with 20 touchdown passes in each of his first 7 NFL seasons. Russell Wilson.
And you know what? He's finally getting time. He's had a little bit of a struggle these last few years with very little time in the pocket. And you're seeing a morph of that offensive line and that system.
And coming over to the money team.
Floyd Mayweather, and there's the phone that, you know, looks awfully similar to yours, Jim. He's got
Did you see me on TV?
He's got a second phone there, and you know, he was excited to be on TV right there.
Exactly.
Hey guys, did you see? I was on. And that's Fowler. He gave up. I mean, that penalty really, that was a dead.
He's actually, you could argue, given up two touchdowns today because he kept 2 touchdown drives alive that would have been punting situations. The opening drive of the game and that last one on personal foul penalties.
Exactly right. That's how.
Position zone infraction. Defense, number 55. 5-yard penalty. First down.
That last drive lasted longer than most of Mayweather's fights. Let's go down to Tracy.
And no surprise, Jim, that this defense was given a talking to after that drive. First Joe Barry, the linebackers coach, then Bill Johnson, the defensive line coach, then McVay came over as well. The message, these kinds of plays will get us beat. Play smart, stop beating ourselves, and we'll win this game. Jim?
1st and 5 off the penalty. Thank you, Tracy.
That's exactly right, too.
It is. Big story. 2 plays, 2 penalties, kept Seattle going. And Russell Wilson able to take advantage of it.
I like Seattle's adjustment. Now you're seeing a guy over the center and the 2 guys right outside of him. Now you got a lot of guys. It's going to be tough for them to continue to run that. Same thing here. That run game, you got to throw the ball if you're the Rams. This is very difficult to run against. We'll see what they come up with right here.
2nd and 3. Fake to Gurley. Now going to throw it in the area of Gurley as Goff hits the ground. Pushed down by Bobby Wagner.
Wonderful job by Seattle getting pressure. This front, you know, we called it. It's the 46. It's the Bear front, and they're going to apply pressure. Now you're leaving people on islands out there, but you're going to take away part of someone's game plan quickly.
They had a 1st and 5, and now it's a 3rd and 3.
Well, they're doing it again on 3rd and 3. That means they don't want you to run the ball and get the first.
That's the middle. Catch is made by Everett for 5 and a first. Update time. Back to New York.
Packers ground attack.
Yeah, the Aaron show is in place, and it's called Aaron Jones. His 10-yard run puts the Green Bay Packers up 21-12 over Miami. Aaron Jones today, 11 rushes, 129 yards, and 2 touchdowns on the day.
Back to Jim Nantz.
JB, coach, thank you. So Aaron Jones, after coughing it up late in the game against the Patriots, coming back with a big performance today. Goff, deep drop pass, caught at the 48 by Cooks. What a nice snag that was for 14.
Watch this route. That's hard when the leverage is on the sideline. You still have to get back outside, and the defender's there. Trey Flowers. Cooks fights and gets through it.
By the way, Goff did, in fact, go over earlier in this game. On the previous drive, went over 3,000 yards for the season, and right into the arms of Jefferson. He's the first Ram quarterback to have back-to-back 3,000-yard seasons since Mark Bulger.
Wow. And you see now the Rams, this play's been working the whole game. It's done. They're going to have to change up now with the front. Seattle's not even messing around. They're just saying, we're running it. What are you going to do? Everyone's going to be one-on-one outside, and you're going to have opportunities to throw the football. That's really what you should do if you're the Rams. Just commit to doing it, drop back and throw it. In Seattle, I like it. Don't let them just hand off anymore. And they're still doing it, same thing over and over. Those 5 right there on the line.
Ready, set, he can't do that!
Full start. Offense number 65. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Ball on John Sullivan.
He's been doing
center.
this a little bit. Watch him as he moves through. He'll be like pointing and he'll do it quickly. And that little hand movement, Seattle's so used to getting off the ball with any little thing. Sullivan, though, he kind of does that in a lot of their games. The difference is most teams aren't trying to get off the ball with reckless abandon like Seattle does.
It's his second false start of this quarter, 2nd and 15. Goff. Pass intended for Cooper Kupp.
Goff's going to want that one back because Kupp runs a fantastic route, and he is open. And you're going to have guys one-on-one. They got to hit him.
Got hit in the arm.
Well,
That threw it.
Okay, that's where it was just a hair. Yep, that's why the ball just comes off a little high.
It was Reed of the Seattle Seahawks who hit the elbow right on the release. 3rd and 15. Got to get all the way to the 39 of the Seahawks for the first. Oh, wide open. It's Woods. Inside the 20. Robert Woods, that's the 43rd catch this year that has gone for a first down by Woods.
I love how he gets width to create the angle to come back downhill. Woods having multiple plays in this game showing off his skill set. He gets wide so that when he comes back inside, there's more space to throw the football. Goff with a strike.
Final minute of the 3rd quarter.
Just a quick toss maybe, got to get up and hand it.
Gonna go with Gurley. Able to tiptoe right through a whole slew of Seattle defenders and pick up 9 or 10. Not many players in the league can make 9 or 10 out of that.
Well, and that's, Seattle went back to their old front, and I don't know why on first down you would do that. You're just allowing these guys to come right up and do it. Condense the front, get those 3 guys tighter.
2nd and 1 at the 10-yard line. Don't have to run a play here in this quarter. And they're going to wait till the 4th to snap it.
Well, that's smart. You get up and you don't call a play. You say, guys, there's no play. I'm going to try and draw them off sides.
Yeah, try to get the penalty. We're going to the 4th. 1-point Seattle lead. Back for the 4th and a tight one in Los Angeles. Jim Nance, Tony Romo, Tracy Wolfson, Jim Rickoff, our producer, Mike Arnold, our director, and all the crew. They played back on October 7th in Seattle. The Rams won 33-31. Had 7 lead changes over the last 2 meetings. Start the 4th with play action. Goff throws. Ball caught. Touchdown, Los Angeles. Higbee. Go for 2 here, Tony?
Yeah, I'd go for 2. It's the 4th quarter. And Higbee, well, look at this, though. That's a block, a chip, and then a back shoulder throw to a tight end. That's fantastic. So you're up right now by 5 points. To me, whenever I get in the 4th quarter, everyone who says it's too early, once you're in the fourth quarter, it's the fourth quarter. It's just at this point in the game, I'm going for 2 and making it consistently in the numbers you want, which are 7, 3, the ones that matter. And I like this decision, especially when you think you're good at it.
Yeah, when you got this offense.
Yeah, when you have a play or two that you design. What I don't like is going for 2 randomly when you're like, hey, let's just come out here and throw a fade and see what happens, 50-50 ball. Here comes like a handoff versus the right front, a motion across to see if anyone's with you. Nobody motions with you. So now the quarterback knows the play.
To give to Gurley. He is stacked up. He is met. And the Seattle defense denies the 2-point conversion.
That was all effort. Seattle up front. Completely sold out. And that was
Jarran Reed.
I mean, just watch the explosiveness from the backers coming right through the gap and shutting that down.
Look at him.
That's Mingo, 51, shooting the gap.
Well, CBS's Super Bowl season continues next Sunday. Regional action, Pittsburgh at Jacksonville. How about the Houston at Washington game? They got 2 division leaders in that one. Houston on a bye this week to go in 6-game winning streak against Washington, which won today. That'll be some matchup, plus other regional action. Some will get your game late. Denver against the Chargers. Other games, check your local listings. And, of course, check out the NFL Today, 12 noon Eastern, next Sunday, regional week on CBS. So a touchdown throw to Higbee, his 2nd of the year. He had the only touchdown reception by a Rams tight end for the season coming in. Now they have 2 today. Rams tight ends, one by Higbee, one by Everett. You can help people affected by the California wildfires by visiting redcross.org or text CA Wildfires to 90999 to give $10 to American Red Cross California Wildfires Relief. There was a smoky haze over the Coliseum yesterday, but the winds shifted today off the ocean. And in these parts where we are right now, near downtown, it's a different look than yesterday.
You remember Russell Wilson when we talked to him? Is the game going to be played for sure?
We were down here. They were up there. We're on the phone. They were wondering. Wilson still has it. And again, the stretch out with the left hand may pick up the first. And it does.
I'm just amazed they can get away with consistently playing a tackle at the tight end position. And it's all because you have this guy. And, I mean, that's just him out racing Longacre to the edge.
He does that reaching out for that extra yard or 2 better than anybody in the league.
I don't know if they actually give it to him always, but he always does it and makes it look. That just shows you how competitive he is. He wants that extra inch.
He gets it. It's twice today. As Penny is thrown back behind a line of scrimmage by Littleton, who's their top tackler on the season. Penny to reapply the shoe. Bring back Davis. Davis, 9 carries, 50 yards. All of that, though, he hasn't had a carry in the second half. Wilson gonna run again. Big game for Wilson. That's now 5 times he's scrambled, and 4 of them have gone for 10 plus. This one for 22. Doug Baldwin helped free him too once he took off.
He's just the most efficient. Look at this decision. I might go down. No, I like my angles. His efficiency when he gets moving, I mean, it's hard to explain. I think this is a rare gift that he has that I don't see very often. Some guys can run. Some guys can buy time. He has the rare gift to almost wait for you to get close to him and then speed up. And then wait for you to get close and then spin. And then you get close and then I just go down sometimes. He sees angles very quickly on the move.
That was his longest run of the season. Penny back in. Down to the 41.
And you can picture Russell and see how many times he's like stayed in the back of the pocket and kind of rolled right, but stayed 10 yards deep, and then kind of rolled back left, and then kind of moved up a little, and then, so, now I'm just going to run left and then throw it for 12 yards. And you're like, he's just as calm, recreating new spots.
He hasn't been running as much this year as he has in the past.
You're right.
But he has today. It's like what he used to do. 5 carries in the game for 60. Had only 118 on the ground coming in. Here he is throwing on the run, finding Baldwin, and Hill shoves him out, but another first down for the Seahawks.
And you see him on the edge.
Got a flag down near the 50.
Personal foul.
Another
Roughing the passer.
personal foul.
Defense number 93. Penalty enforced after this is a goal. Automatic. First down.
This one on Sue.
Well, we'll see. I mean, he's got a history of this. As he gets up, that's definitely. I mean, you're standing there watching him throw the football. And Sue's so big, if he gets any effort into the guy at all, right there. See, he doesn't need the extra effort at the end of it. If you want to bump him, but you can't hit him. I mean, that's a penalty. The guy threw it right in front of you. You see it, clear as day. You didn't get pushed into him or anything.
Half the distance. It was a 13-yard penalty after a 15-yard pass play, and that's the 5th personal foul on the Rams today. From the 13. Penny. Able to get 2, maybe 3 out of that.
Well, now they want to stop the run. So what you're seeing is the front by the Rams. Everyone's going back to Buddy Ryan today because they now are condensing, doing the bear front, we call it. Seattle's up in the ball.
And the Rams are out of position on defense. A couple of players just got to the sideline in time. And there's McVay running down to get a timeout before the snap. Timeout Rams. They have only one left.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald, in theaters Thursday.
John Hussey with an announcement.
After discussion on the field, Seattle substituted, and we did not allow Los Angeles to match up. Therefore, we're giving the Rams back their timeout. They are not being charged their second timeout. They have 2 timeouts remaining.
That could be big.
Yep, so they gave him the timeout back. The reason is when Seattle substitutes and they bring different players in, you can't just quick snap. You got to give the defense time to get their players in because you have new people coming in. They didn't give the Rams time, and the Rams had to take a timeout.
Here's a 2nd and 8. Little toss, Baldwin pushed out by Peters. And 3rd down's coming up. Touchdowns on 8 of their last 10 trips inside the red zone. Play action today, you said at the start, Tony, that you get that ground game going, it's going to work, and he's perfect 8 for 8.
Yeah, and it's mostly the efficiency comes because the first time they played them, they hurt them in the run game. Well, you have to have a plan for that. If you're the Rams, you should use that against them if you're Seattle, and a couple plays really have hurt them today.
3rd down and 5. Can pick up the first at the 3.
They can throw it outside. They're one-on-one, top of your screen.
Wilson smashed. Sue. Donald was there too.
And he almost gets held. And Sue still gets to the quarterback, and you see, look at these 2 big guys. I mean, Donald's relentless. Sue does a great job as well. But those 2 together up the middle, if you don't have a plan on 3rd down, your quarterback's getting hit consistently.
Field goal here to cut it down to 2. 33 yards. Sebastian Janikowski. And he knocks it through.
And you know what I think of right now? I think of the Rams going for 2. Instead of being up 3, they're only up 2 now.
Again, they met week 5. It was a 2-point win by the Rams on the road, 33-31. Leading in this one by 2 at 26-24. Just inside 10 minutes to go in what's been a fantastic game. Janikowski onside kick, and it's recovered right away by the Rams. Josh Reynolds. How about that?
Oh boy, that's well, you see the 2-point call earlier, aggressive, and then you see Pete Carroll, and he's upset because the kick. I don't know why he's terribly upset. It went 10 yards. I mean, did he? Special teams is prepared. You see John Fossil right there. Just, he knows. I mean, they were ready for that. That tells you with the way they were looking at that and everything.
Yeah, Janikowski's missed his last 25 onside kick attempts. 2 for 33 in his 19-year career. That Reynolds was ready for it.
It's supposed to be wider, probably, I'm guessing.
That's Woods. That's Woods down to the 24. Six up 22.
Goff with the dart after play action, and Woods. I'm more and more impressed every single time I watch Woods play.
What'd you think of the timing of that onside kick? 10 minutes to go.
I mean, it's the same as any decision. You're a genius if it works. If not, you put yourself in a hole.
Play action and throwing it away as Mingo was over there keeping an eye on Woods. And Kupp, who's already had a knee issue that cost him 2 games this year, is holding on to that left knee here.
I don't like when he's down like that. Let's see what happens here.
Oh, just ouch, pulled up, and an injury timeout.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by E-Trade, the original place to invest online. Pepsi, the official soft drink of the NFL. And by Progressive Insurance, handing off big savings to you.
Images from right here at the Coliseum, Super Bowl I. Vince Lombardi and the Packers over the Chiefs. On January 15th, 1967. Kupp helped to the sideline, and Goff down to the 10. On target. Cooks. 1st and goal to go at the 9.
This is coach coming up with a Seattle beater, we call it, which means Seattle runs that same defense over and over. They're so good at it, they can just run it, and everyone knows, you know, the subtlety within it on that defense. But the Rams, McVay, if they know you're going to run something, they're going to put people in spots and change their offense a little bit with how they run the same plays, but you're going to this spot instead of this spot. And they've been doing that today.
1st and goal. Fake to Gurley. Goff, well protected. Looking, and no one there as he saw a couple of Seahawk defenders converging. Goff now 26 of 36 for 303 yards. Got his 300-yard game. A pair of touchdowns, no picks.
You know, seeing how dynamic this offense is, I like the fact that they tried the onside. It didn't work, and so it's going to look like it wasn't smart. But you need to steal a possession. That's how you beat some of the best teams. Those great offenses. The Peyton Manning ones, you stole a possession. The Saints in the Super Bowl, that's what they did. They worked for
the
them.
Second half.
Yes.
Successful onside kick.
And you could have all of a sudden got a lead based on nothing more than that.
2nd and goal, coming after Goff. Gurley's almost intercepted right off his hands, and that was Reed, who was trying to run under it but couldn't quite get there.
Wow, that would have been a game-turning play. Goff does a good job doing it, but
Coleman coming up and blitzing, and Gurley turning around, took his eye off of it.
He's got to throw that one away. I mean, he's going to get tackled instantly.
And Coach Carroll extolled the great talent and potential of Reed, who has made a number of plays today. Almost got the interception right in front of Sean McVay.
I like pressure in this Rams offense. I think it's your best chance is to come after him and get in a bare front. Get in bare fronts, come after him. Bare fronts, come after him. We talked about it today.
Hold him to a field goal will be huge. Over to Cooks. Cooks down to the 2.
Oh,
Fourth and goal to go.
What do you do if you're the Rams? This is now a tough call. This one I really have to think about. I think you kick the field goal personally. I think you go up 5.
Yeah,
you
and
got to
that's what
trust
they're
your
gonna do.
There he goes.
That's
He's
what they're
going
gonna
to
do.
kick it. He says
I
kick it.
agree with you. You
Set
just,
him out.
if you get stopped, it's just a field goal away from potentially winning the game if you're Seattle. So McVay waited for a while. He's talking to Cooks about final stages of that last play. They got within 2 yards of the end zone. Chip shot coming up, Zerline, 20 yards. An old point after the good old days. The hold, the kick is good with a half a quarter to go.
Don't you just love that Sean McVay thinks about that, though? Just that he thinks about it. I like it. He's a winner.
.34 to go. The Rams, they are going to be heading to the Air Force Academy tomorrow, where they're going to train in altitude all week long, just as the Patriots did last year before their game down in Mexico City. So the Rams are going to do before they take on Kansas City a week from tomorrow night. It'll be some game.
You're saying that they're playing Denver and then they go to Mexico City.
Yeah, that's what New England did, but they asked to play Denver. They didn't get that request from the league, even though that was on the schedule. You see the Titans again shocking the Patriots. Drew Brees, look at that, 51 on the Bengals after putting 45 up against the Rams. And yep, there they are. Chiefs 9-1 on the season. Beat Arizona today. You see Mariota leading that attack. Brees, second all-time career touchdown passes. He moved past Brett Favre. Interesting, both, of course, Kansas City divisional foe, but also the Rams had away games scheduled at Denver. They made requests to the league if they could get that Denver game on the front end of the Mexico City game, like the Patriots did last year, denied. As Wilson slides for another 4 or 5. But that's a matchup next week down south of the border. We could be seeing up in February 3rd in Atlanta, Kansas City and the Rams.
That's a good one, and that's, you get a little touch of the head there. But yeah, there's about 4 teams, aren't there, that you think right now that are standing out? The Saints,
maybe
Rams,
6.
Kansas City. Always throw the Patriots in there.
You know, I think the Chargers get overlooked.
They're playing good ball.
Playing great.
2nd and 7, and I tell you, this is where you like having Russell Wilson. This is where he starts to try and take over the game with his legs. This isn't going to be the same running offense the whole time. They're going to try and do a little bit of everything on this drive.
And they plow ahead with Penny, who has been earning a lot of carries today. Let's see what that does for him. That was his 11th rush. He's moving in on 100. He's got 100 yards on the nose. The rookie, first 100-yard game, comes in the same contest that he scores his first NFL touchdown. Actually, it just moved him up to 101. Added another yard on that last carry.
Running back is at the top of your screen, and you look at that matchup. Quarterback now knows if it's man-to-man or zone. He sees it, he knows it's man. Now you're trying to look for your slant or your crosser, or you're throwing it outside quickly.
3rd and 3. Ball is on the ground. Picked up by the Rams. Carried into the end zone. I believe he's down. That's Dante Fowler of all people. He stripped it. He's the one who caused it.
Down by contact.
You're going to rule him down at the 9.
Los Angeles.
Fowler, who had 2 bad penalties in this game, comes back and makes a big play.
And off the edge, and you see with a good move, and you can't step up in the pocket because of these great D tackles that the Rams have. And this is why they went and got Fowler, to provide pressure off the edge when the quarterback has to go backwards right there. You see that? And then he's right back into there, and Fowler makes up for those plays like you just said, Jim.
Yep, this is why they traded a 3 and a 5 to Jacksonville 2 weeks ago. He's touched right there. The strip sack by Fowler. And with Fowler in the lineup, they've got 4 former first-round draft picks on that defensive line when he's in the game to go with Sue, Donald, and Brockers. And that's exactly what they brought him here for.
Russell wanted to throw the ball earlier. He just waited a tick to let it go.
From the 9, handoff to Cooks. Got a blocker out there. Cooks finds the end zone for the touchdown. That was Robert Woods. Oh, he's going to have a busy day.
Well,
He got 2 footballs.
Oh, as if he didn't have enough.
Yeah, right.
I tell you, this play, the Rams run this jet sweep more than anybody, like 5 times more than anyone else in the league. They hand the ball off on these. And when you hand it off, they've lulled them to sleep all game. They keep running that motion. Don't give it to him. Don't give it to him. Don't give it to him. Don't. Bam, game's on the line. They give it to him, and it's a walk-in touchdown. Great timing on that call.
Extra point is good.
And the crazy thing is Seattle has to game plan against that jet sweep.
Fowler set it up.
Boy, these games come down to one game-changing play every week. And you work all week to stop that play, and then all of a sudden you don't see it till the 4th quarter.
Anybody worthy of a game ball other than Mayweather today? He hands it to him and says, hey, I hope you like the ringside seat, and I'd like to have one the next time you're at work.
Now Fowler's like, this is the best game ever. I mean, we're going to win. No one's going to remember all my negatives. Now I'm glad I brought you in. But that right there is exactly the adversity in a football game. You have positives, you have negatives. As a quarterback, whatever position you're in, you do bad things. You just keep playing. You keep doing your job, and you try. And, things happen where you come up with a big play and you never saw it coming. He just kept working. Give him credit that he didn't go in the tank and just be upset that his day was bad no matter what.
There's the run back. For the first time today, Lockett gets a chance to run one out, and flag comes flying in 2. Rams with 10 points in 1 minute and 45 seconds.
During the return, we have an illegal double team block by the receiving team, number 84 and 87. That penalty is enforced from the spot of the foul, half the distance to goal, first down.
Boy, Fowler knows that he was going to be receiving a lot of criticism for a couple of plays a couple of penalties that he had made in this game. He comes back and may have come up with a play that would seal it. It's not over. 5:43 to go, but backed up to the 10 and now down 12. To Davis for about 7.
Well, now it's exactly the opposite of what we said you wanted against the Rams. Now they know you're throwing it on 90% of the plays from here on out, and they're going to let these guys go. And they're lucky that Donald's on the sideline right now.
2nd and 3. And that's good for a first down. First rush attempt of the second half for Davis. As Brian Schottenheimer leads this offense. Son of Marty Schottenheimer. A great coach. Under 5 to go, Wilson. That's a catch by Moore, who had a couple of touchdown grabs in the first meeting. Peters kind of sags the shoulders, knowing he just gave up that pass when he thought he had tight coverage. He thought maybe, in fact, was Moore going to be in play here. Nice little turnaround to make the catch.
Oh, yeah, he's in bounds. Keep getting up and go. As long as you've got the big guys on the sideline, Donald and Sue, I'd keep throwing this ball over and over again. We'll come back and run it when we get down in the end zone, the red zone.
Setting up screen to Davis. And that's finished off by Roby Coleman.
Stay in no huddle if you're Seattle. Keep the same guys on the field for the Rams. The goal is to keep this same unit out there the whole time, because now you got a little bit of time in the pocket comparatively when Donald gets back in the game.
4:25 to go. They need 2 touchdowns. Down 12. Wilson picks up another first while scrambling.
Russell's going to use that spin move so effective, and I thought he was going to fire, but Baldwin kept running down the field.
Donald has come back into the game, Tony.
Yeah, that's it. You see him right here in that little spot.
Davis trying to go outside. And he's got 3 more.
As a quarterback, you're not trying to do anything other than just continually move the ball. You don't have to score in one play. You don't have to get erratic and fired in between 4 people. You just got to score on this drive, and then we'll think about the next one and see how much time is left. Just make the correct play.
Here's the 2nd and 6. And Davis drops it, although he had a defender closing in, Joyner.
You need to catch that one.
3rd and 6. And he returns, yep, no doubt, 4 down. Right?
4 down territory for sure. Baldwin playing the tight end position, the closest to the quarterback right here. That speed right there. He might have a chance to get across the field if they want to use him.
There's Baldwin. Bounces off the hip, picks up the 1st. Great piece of running by Doug Baldwin, who's been hampered by a nagging knee injury that's forced him to miss a couple of games and just not be...
He's looking better though, right?
Yes, he's definitely, you can sense he's close to being back.
I'd keep getting up and putting him inside. He's inside the slot up top. I'd keep looking at him each throw.
1st down. Wilson breaks out of the sack. And again, stretches out. What else? Another 1st down run.
Ran out of bounds. Stopping the clock.
That goes for 12. He's got 81 on the ground. Remember, the whole season they had 118 rushing. Today, 81. Close to a face mask.
I don't think so, though, because he kind of didn't grab. You know, it's like you can brush just as long as you're not grabbing. I think that was the right call.
He's rushed for 5 1st downs in this game. Delay give to Penny. And they're inside the 20.
And at this point now, I'm done running the football. This ball needs to be in the air from here on out. Like 20 seconds now, 30 seconds, these are all huge, like every single play. I'm taking a shot right now in the middle of the field if the safeties get wide, or if they come downhill, then it's outside.
Russell taking off. Got another 1st down. Flag down as he goes out of bounds at the 5. Flag is back at the 20. It's going to be a hold.
Holding. Offense number 65. 10-yard penalty. 2nd down.
You can see on the side of the screen just a little bit of a hold that they see right in front of them.
.222 to play. Seattle with all 3 timeouts. 2nd and 14. Look in the middle. Has target. Still trying to crawl toward the end zone is Ed Dickson. And Wilson wants to get a playoff before the 2-minute warning.
So now he's telling them quickly up. Guys, I'm throwing a fade down here. I'm throwing a fade. Just snap the ball. Just get set. He's like, Dutch, just stand there.
Not in time. That was always going to be difficult, but they're 3 yards away coming out of the 2-minute warning. Down by 12.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by The Home Depot. More saving, more doing. And by Uber. Doors are always opening.
Two minutes left. 1st and goal from the 3. Look at this formation.
This is where they like Russell to move. The problem is all these guys over here aren't going to let Russell Wilson keep the ball if he takes it.
Play action, throw, Davis with the touchdown catch.
That's a fantastic play call. They weren't going to let Russell keep it, so they ran a bootleg right off it. Perfect play call by Schottenheimer and Pete Carroll. So you go for 1 here. You're going to be down 5. You could go for 2 and put it 4, but most likely they're not getting a field goal here. The only reason to go for 2 is if there was enough time where they could still get a field goal attempt, in my opinion, to create it 39-32.
Gronkowski gets that point after, and we had that graphic about how long it's been since he had a successful onside kick. Was that just setting up something that's going to perhaps change the tide?
Well, right there, they go for 1. It's the exact right call. Now the big decision isn't going for 1 or 2. That's 1 right there.
You do have the 3 timeouts.
It's the 3 timeouts and going for the onside kick here. And that comes down to, do we think that they can get a first down? Can we stop them? And do you think possibly he's due? Is there a stat for, if anyone's ever been due to get an onside, it's the guy who's got 25 in a row where they haven't got it.
Exactly. The one earlier, just it was too easy a bounce right into the hands of Reynolds.
Yeah, you want that higher. See Thompson back there, you want it higher than that. That's why.
Tonight on CBS begins with 60 Minutes, and the secret pact between NFL teammates who happen to be identical twin brothers who just happen to be in this game, the Griffin brothers, followed by new episodes of Godfriend and the NCIS Los Angeles Man of Secretary. Janikowski's not out there.
That means that tells
Dixon.
me, look, Dixon's your punter. So he's either a better onside kicker or they're going to punt this ball and punt it right down over there, which, I don't know, he can drop kick it, just so you know. There's a rule about drop kicking, and this has to be a form of an onside, right?
Yep, the only guy back deep is Natson. Look at this. Over the field of play, scooped up by Natson at the 13. Sandwiched it to 25. Again, they have all 3 timeouts. Seattle.
They've done that a couple times this year, actually, so that's not that random. It gets you a little bit, it's kind of neat because they're basically saying this is going to pin them deep for sure. They can't return it very good. We might be able to catch them at the 10 to 15 yard line if they don't get the ball right away.
Ended up being the same result as a touchback to the 25. How many times have you seen with that attempt?
Not many. Well, they've done it, but they're the only team I've seen do that. It's I'm going to look into that. That's interesting. I like stuff that's a little new. Got away with a false start there.
Jet sweep. Oh, almost lost the ball. Woods had to grab it a second time, and it's a loss of 6 or 7. And a quick timeout. So great moment here for Seattle's defense.
Well, you're seeing right there, they were prepared for this coming into the week. That's that jet sweep, and Reed just played it perfectly down the line. And that's why they didn't do it all game. They do it a lot more than what they've done today. The one time they got him, touchdown. Coming back to it, Seattle ain't letting that happen again.
By the way, the Rams reporting that Cooper Kupp, as we suspected, left knee injury, not returning to this game. He had first injured, that's actually reported by our Tracy Wolfson, that knee first injured on a horse collar tackle against Denver last month.
Everybody's down. This could be a big play.
It's Gurley. Big run to about the 26. It'll be 3rd and 9. And look at Carroll come onto the beat, comes onto the field. Get that timeout at 1:40 right away.
Jim, watch this. The safety's right here. He's down along the scrimmage next to the backer. That's a corner running. There's nobody 5 yards deeper on the field. And that is a perfect play call, because if he gets outside of that spot right there, that's a touchdown.
The oldest coach in the league jumping out there, spry as ever at 67, going today against the youngest head coach in the NFL. 32-year-old McVay, 67-year-old Carroll. Big play, 3rd and 9.
All right, this has got to be a drop back game. You could throw a screen here. I mean, there's a lot of options in this offense right here. If you're Seattle, you got to go after them.
Full start. Offense, number 77. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
False start.
I'd like to welcome the audience that was watching Green Bay and Miami. Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, Tracy Wolfson on site. 1:40 to go and a 3rd and 14 for the Rams. Toss over to Cooks. And Seattle's going to get the football back.
It's exactly how those two possessions. Seattle goes down and scores. And what you realize real fast is, while you're eating with 1:35 to go, that you're going to get this ball back if you trust your defense. And that was outstanding series for the Seahawks defense.
Well, that first down play that set them back 7 was just huge.
I just think it was risky. And listen, they haven't had. I just think that Seattle came into here like knowing this is how we have to defend things.
And watch out for Tyler Lockett, electrifying return man, waiting for the Hecker punt. Backtracks to the 16. Surveys the field, and he is met at the 25. Super punt by Hecker. Tackled by Ronick Wilson. A 55-yard punt, and now Russell Wilson and the Seahawks have 1:24 to go. The distance with no timeouts.
So with 1:24 and no timeouts, it's very different when you have to score a touchdown or a field goal. The field goal, you have a lot of time. With a touchdown, you do not have a lot of time. Plays have to get out of bounds or they need to be chunk yards. It is not worth running as a quarterback to get 5 yards or checking it down for 5 to 8 yards. These need to be 8 to 15 or more yards or out of bounds if you're throwing it under 10 yards.
And for those just joining us, Seattle's piled up 262 on the ground today, but Wilson 80%, 16 of 20, including 3 touchdown passes. In trouble. Tries to get it away, and it's going to be ruled. Well, they're playing like it's a fumble, as that is Donald running with it. The officials have thrown a flag as there's a scuffle on the sideline. Sean McVay in the middle of it, trying to break it apart.
Well, there's 2 things here. One, it's going to be a pass, but it's going to be an intentional grounding if they really look at it closely. So it's not going to be a fumble. So you're going to see him move up. And right here, he's in that pocket, throws it to nobody. It's a pass, so it won't be a fumble. Then there's going to be the penalty, the late hit on Seattle on Donald, and then another one on Donald coming back to him.
You know what's interesting, Tony, is they never, like, you certainly thought right away it was an incomplete pass, but no one on the field ruled it as such.
The ruling on the field was an incomplete pass.
I never saw any signal for that initially.
Well, they know it's the right one now.
Yeah.
But no one blew the whistle at the time, I don't think. But it is the correct call. The bigger issue is talking about whether or not it was intentional grounding.
Let's bring in Gene Steratore. Gene, what did you see on that play?
Well, Jim,
if it is intentional grounding, then what we will have is we'll have a 10-second runoff. They'll go back to where the ruling of incomplete was, which I believe is at 1 minute and 20 seconds. They'll take 10 seconds off, and then they'll start the clock on the ready for play.
Oh, Gene,
if the ruling ends up as an intentional grounding.
What about the 2 penalties after the play?
There was an incomplete pass, and there was a receiver in the area. After the play, we have fouls on both teams. Unsportsmanlike, dead ball, personal foul, 99 and 68. Those fouls will offset as dead ball fouls, and it will be 2nd down.
So there's the box. This is where the intentional grounding is going to come from. And that's the correct call. He knows he can't waste time. There's no receiver in sight. And now the penalties are offset after.
Gene, do you like the way they sorted all of that?
I think the only thing that I'm questioning that John mentioned was that he did say that number 27 was in the area, which is waving off the intentional grounding and also discarding a potential 10-second runoff. That's why we have the clock killed at 1:19 and he is just going to go with an incomplete pass.
So
the offset is an offset based on the dead ball fouls, but we don't have a 10-second runoff, and the clock's going to start on the snap now.
You thought it should have been intentional grounding, though, Gene?
I think by my judgment that he's getting rid of this ball to avoid loss of yardage and the running of the clock, so some judgment there, yeah.
On we go with 2nd and 10. 1:19 to play. Going on the run, finding his target, Lockett at the 46, and now they'll hurry up.
Now you don't clock it. You get up and run another play, and right now you want to run like sideline stuff. I want one guy in the deep middle of the field, over the middle, and I want sideline down here. This guy needs to be an out and back to the flat, and then you're throwing a guy in the middle if they take that away.
That went for 29. Taken off again. He's going to slide. Now the clock's going to keep on going. Picked up 11. They're at the 34.
Don't clock it yet. He's going to clock this one, but he... Clock it.
At 37 seconds.
So you have them on their heels right there, where that's where you get a big play. Getting right back up and taking your shot, and it's about four seconds longer than a different one would be, but you have a chance at a 30-yard play down the sideline if you get up and snap it. It's the same as clocking, you're throwing a fade.
I know it's only week 10, but it's got huge ramifications on both sides. The Rams trying to keep company with the Saints, who they lost to last week. The Seahawks right on that borderline wild card scenario.
You're exactly right.
2nd and 10. Got rid of it. Going to the end zone and over the head of Moore, who was well covered by Peters.
Well, Russell gets hit here, and these teams both know how big this is, like you just explained, Jim. This is gonna matter as this season plays out for both these teams. Home field or not, you know, we'll see with the Rams, the Seattle. Playoff picture is vastly different with a win here.
Timeout called by Los Angeles. Again, this is the NFC West.
I mean, it's early, but it's not when it comes down to, like, you just know these games that you have opportunities to win with a minute to go. I mean, the season's all come down to these 3 games that you have you have the ball or you have to get a stop. And you look back and you went 8-8, 9-7. You know, for the Rams, you're either playing here or you're heading to New Orleans.
Pete Carroll, he certainly had a lot of magic in the Coliseum back in his day. Does he have another trick?
Well, I want to see if they're going to play soft or if they're going to be one-on-one outside. Because to me, if Russell wants it, he's got Baldwin one-on-one all the way down at the side of the field. Down here, he can run an out. And this guy's definitely one-on-one up top.
Here's Wilson trying to get out of a jam, throws it away. It'll be 4th down in the vicinity of Van Nett.
Russell's trying to make a play and move out of the pocket on each one, and it's getting difficult because this pass rush is collapsing the pocket. I think he's got to rip it in there on this one. If you're the Rams, you still don't get too aggressive yet. You don't come after them. You just play defense. They still got to get another 1st down.
Timeout first, Rams. Ryan Schottenheimer communicating what they are going to do here to keep their hopes alive. Donald and Sue have teamed up on 1 sack. Donald has 2.5 quarterback sacks for the game. Fowler, who came in and had the strip sack earlier in this quarter that led to a touchdown. Another one ready to pounce.
Well, this one you can't throw under the sticks unless he's for sure running horizontally and you can get a 1st down. You want to clock the ball. As soon as you throw this and get a 1st down, you run up and you clock it instantly on this one. The middle of the field. The middle of the field, Jim. That's where you want to throw this.
Wilson on the run, gets rid of it. Over the head of Lockett. And the Rams are going to hold on for the victory. Boy, he thought about running with it, and he was right straddling the line of scrimmage when he released it. And the pass was too high.
And the pressure on the outside, the Ebukam makes him get out of the pocket, and that throw just gets away from him barely as he tries to float it over. And you saw Lockett was standing on the sideline. And Russell knows they had a shot in this one with the drive at the end. And you see how important these games are, and devastating when you lose, and the joy when you win.
The joy in a week down this way where there's been very little of it.
This community, they're watching this. I mean, this is a big win for them right here and everyone around here. Thoughts and prayers with everybody who's had a tough week, obviously, in so many different ways. But the Rams win another one in a close game. They've won all these close games.
By the way, Seattle in one-score games this year is 1-5. It's the other way. Goes to show you.
It really comes down to those big plays we talked about right at the end. Those 1 or 2 plays that changed. Fowler's fumble changed the game. That was the difference.
Undefeated in the division. Now 9-1 after the 8-0 start. A rebound after the loss last week to the Saints. And once again, Sean McVay, in just his second year, has never lost 2 consecutive games. He's now 5-0 after a loss. Tonight on CBS begins with 60 Minutes and the secret pact between NFL teammates who happen to be identical brothers, identical twins. Shaquem Griffin, you'll want to see their story, and the intensity is still on the field even after the final whistle. Later tonight, new episodes, God Friended Me, NCIS Los Angeles, Madam Secretary, on America's #1 network, CBS. This was quite a game.
Tremendous.
Again, it has been such a trying week around here. The Rams told us to a man they were hoping they could somehow bring a glimmer of hope to the citizens of Southern California. And for the last 3 hours, this was a fun football game to watch and be diverted to football and something fun.
It was great doing the game with you, Big Ed.
Look forward to seeing you next week. We'll be in Jacksonville. For Tony and Tracy, all the crew, Jim Nance saying so long from Los Angeles. The Rams are 9-1. They hold off hard-fought game against Seattle. You've been watching the NFL on CBS, the home of Super Bowl 53.